Testing 1, 2, and we are live. How's everybody doing today? I hope your final week of the month is going well in Atlas Earth. We're getting ready to talk about what you've been up to this last week and what I've been up to and what we're looking forward to in the new month here in a day or two. Before we get into that, I want to get right up front. I want to give a shout out to my channel members. KGM Jam, Gathering the Magic, Blind Mage from the North, Watch More, Cerezi, Jason B Channel, and Bolts85. I appreciate you being members and supporting the channel. Okay, let's jump into discussion and see what everybody's doing here. Lady Sharon's here. Lady Sharon was a little bit earlier. I saw your question, but I was doing a few little preparations to get the show going, so we'll talk about that here in a minute. Annalise is here. Welcome. Thank you all for showing up. Christopher Marino is here. Welcome. KGM Jam's in the house, and Atlas Bucks XX is here. So let's jump in and just start talking about what everybody wants to, what everybody's doing. You know, this is the last week of the month, and I assume everybody's kind of in a drawdown period and a preparation period for next month. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I've just been kind of in a holding pattern, just getting ready for next month. I've been playing a few arcade games. I've been trying to burn through this one particular arcade game that's one of those, you know, those where you not match game, but where you join things together to produce something else, and then you have to join those together. It really kind of, it's not my favorite type of game, but I've been trying to get some Atlas bucks that way. I'm not quite, I don't think I'm going to be where I want to be for this month. My goal was, since April 15th is going to be my 1 year in the game, I kind of wanted to be at that 1,000 parcel mark. I'm currently at 875, which is at the top of the 5 times multiplier tier here in the States. I'm almost up to 10,000 Atlas bucks, so I will be able to make my break-even point, which would be in the 975 area, but I don't know if I'm going to make enough Atlas bucks between now and, you know, April 15th to make an extra, you know, 225. I don't know. We'll see, though. I'll report on it. I'm going to do a video, you know, kind of a celebration. It's been a year, one of those videos. Hey, I played Atlas Earth for a year type thing, and kind of do my numbers and look what I've put into it and what I have gotten out of it and earned it. Either way, I think I've made pretty good progress for the first year. But that's what I'll be looking at in April, since this will be the month that is my 1 year into the game. Okay, Lady Sharon started off by saying, hello, I have 50 plots currently. I am saving some, and next week plan to take a weird mayorship. It is essentially a square surrounding a water treatment area for a city that is labeled by a city name and counted separate in the game. There are some houses, and it's off of public county roads, but there are no public areas like a gas station. So using Google Street View, I found a pull-off and planned to pull off on the shoulder and plop 20 down. Have you seen something like this before? No, I haven't. However, there is one, and Annalise followed up by saying she had seen something like that. Something similar, and she has a badge in game, a mayorship in game, but doesn't have a badge. There's this small area around me, and it's not like on public land like you're talking about, but it seems to be like in the middle of a big neighborhood. I don't know if it's one of those fancy subdivisions or something or other, but you know, I was looking around my area to find different mayorships that I could possibly take over, you know, and this one small area just popped out. It's like I was scanning the mouse over it to check out different areas, and I'm like, that can't be. And it was just like this little 2 or 3 block area. that's within another larger area, right? With kind of the same name, but it has a little bit of a different name. And that kind of the same idea. I don't know. Let me know how it goes whenever you do it. I mean, it's worth taking over, but it's one of those things that if it's very small and it's out in the middle of nowhere, it's like the double-edged sword we all talk about. I was watching Annalise's video earlier, and she was talking about having a bunch of small mayorships, right? And of course, mayorships are better to have than not to have, because as we have the map now, then people around you can actually search those out. And they're like, oh, I need a badge. And then they look around on the map and they can see, oh, they might drive out there to pick it up. And then you get the badge income, right? Versus the bigger cities where it's going to cost a lot more to get that mayorship, but you get a lot more influx. I have mayorship in 2 areas here in a very, very high traffic area. There's a lot of population around here, and it cost me a lot to get each of these, but I still don't get a whole lot of badge income off of them. I'm lucky if I get like 20 Atlas bucks a week, so. But to your direct question, no, I haven't seen something like that. And I would just put out a little bit of a warning. If I wouldn't, if there's a public pull off, then that's cool, and I would go ahead and use that. But I wouldn't go trespassing on land you're not supposed to be on. That's just me. Even if it's because if it's you don't want to be breaking the law, right? Breaking the law. Sorry. Every time I say that, I go back to that old song and the Beavis and Butthead skit. But okay, so that's enough on that. But yeah, I mean, if you can get it relatively easily, I would say go for it. Just don't break any laws. So Christopher says, good morning. Looking forward to the new month starting here soon. New challenges. Yes, I am too. I am prepared. And the last few months I've been able to get the challenge ladder done in less than a week. So we'll see how it goes. But, it's always changing. I mean, that's nice. I mean, I think if it stayed the same, it would get boring, so they're changing the numbers involved, and they're changing, how they fall in the month, and, the challenges in what order they fall. So it makes it a little bit more interesting to me, at least. But I'm hoping I've got enough I don't have a fear of completing the challenges. It's just my personal goal was to hit 1,000 parcels within my first year, and I don't know if I'm going to make it. I do know that from the plus side, I'll probably be able to make it to my break-even point. Because as we talked about this before, as you're working your way up, those tier jumps get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we can jump over here. Let me take this out of the way. So where I'm at is I'm at the top of 875. Okay. Just making sure you can see that. Okay. So I'm at 875, and my tier jump would be to 1100. So I think I'll be able to safely make it to 975, which is my break-even point. But then I'll have some extra cushion to work towards that 1100 at the top of the 4 times multiplier. But we've had a pretty interesting week here, because we had the super rent boost, which helped me out. I mean, I was able to make like I said, I'm at 875, and as a common question people have, when they first come into the game, how many parcels does it take to make basically $1 a day, $1 US? And I'm right at that. I'm making just a little bit more than $1 per day. And in fact, this last super rent boost that we went through this week gave me basically about $11 to $12, basically $11. So that's going to be, that one super rent boost for me is enough to pay for my challenge ladder membership for next month. So tomorrow I will be able to do what I standardly do, is transfer the money I have in game out to PayPal and my PayPal savings. I do leave $10. If you watch my videos, I've said this before, but just for the sake of those people that don't. I keep $10 in game for the purpose of the challenge ladder challenges, which are the rent to Atlas buck conversions. Now, last month it kind of lined up to where the 33-to-1, which is going on right now. So if you want to take advantage of that, you've got a few more hours to take advantage of that. But it's not going to line up for this month. So we're going to get into the challenge ladder, and the challenge ladder is going to have some of those, convert, one rent dollar to Atlas bucks. Last month you could get the 33-to-1. This month it's not going to line up. So, oh well, let's go ahead and jump back in chat once again. Thanks everybody for dropping by. I see a lot of chat going on, and I'm just blabbering on. KGM Jam's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, KGM Jam. Atlas Buck says they took over a mayorship, had 200 lands, and King of Queens came back with another 150. Now it's 350, and I'm at 235. Yeah, King of Queens is a big dog. So, yeah, good luck with that. So they're at the top of the food chain, and I don't know, but I'll wish you good luck on that. I would be looking around for other mayorships you could possibly take. But yeah, I know how it is. Like this one, my main mayorship, I have 600 parcels to take to keep mayorship, and the other one I'm working on is going to have over 300 when I'm done with it this next month. So it's the name of the game, right? The person that wants to throw the most into the parcels. But at a certain point, I feel that if you get into a fight with too big of a dog, and they're putting a lot of money into the game and you're not, or whatever, then you've got to realize, is it worth continuing to fight for this area, or should I just go find another area? So it's all a personal decision, right? To me, I don't make a huge amount off of badges, but this is this whole game is built around looking towards the future, right? We can slowly amount, like I always talk about. Game starts off very slow for new users, and if you're a new player and you haven't started playing Atlas Earth yet, and you want to start, I have my referral code in the show notes. Get 200 free Atlas bucks when you hit your 11th parcel. Just a little note there. But it starts out very slow, and it slowly, you stick with it, and it amounts up over time. But what we're doing is we're hoping that in the future that the land available gets more sparse, more people get into the game, and then we get into what I consider the next stage of the game would be that those us early adopters who have land in game can sell off some land for profit if we wanted to, And we're slowly rolling into these other changes this year, which will include a number of different, auctions and the monuments and stuff like that. So a lot of cool changes that have gone into the game over the last year and coming up in 2025. So Christopher Marino says they hope they update AMP soon. Yeah, I mean, they talked about it a few months ago, and I haven't heard any updates on it. So it's just still one of those things that we're looking forward to. I still use AMP, but hasn't changed in a while for me, So Brandon Brandtastic is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, Brandon. Atlas Bucks XX says we need mini games every day, or at least one mini game. We have one coming up. We have one this afternoon. I was looking at that. It is fishing. So currently we have the 33-to-1 event going on. So you have 12 hours left of that. And we have fishing. And this is, if you're outside states, this is U.S. East Coast timing here. So it may be different on you. If you're in the U.K., it might be going on right now. I don't know. Or have already went on. But we're looking at fishing this afternoon here in the States, golf in a little bit more than 2 days, And we've got also a survey boost, plus 20% on surveys. You know, I was thinking about sitting down and doing a few surveys today to kind of boost up my Atlas bucks because, you know, what I just talked about, not having enough to do the full tier jump. Looks like we also have an arcade boost this week. Atlas Racer in a little bit more than 4 days and a little bit more than a week. Next week, this time, we're talking about Atlas Warship. So I think they just try to space it out a little bit. I don't know about the whole idea about doing having a mini game every day. I do know that they're working on adding a couple new mini games. Last I heard, it was paper, rock, scissors, and trivia. So I may be interested in the trivia. I don't know. I'm not a big mini game player. I do know that some people who get sufficiently good, I have to do my ad, get my 2 Atlas bucks. Keeping it off screen so you don't have to watch another ad. Okay, let's jump back in here. Interesting idea, though. Ashley Stanfield's here. Merge game. Yeah, you're right. That's the type of game it is. I think we have a ton of merge games to pick from, and it's just one of those things that I'm tired of. But I'm doing it because, well, after this ad, we'll take a look at it. What would the world look like? It had the promise, and it's not time limited, and it had the promise of a good payout. But it's going to take so long to get through it. I don't know how much longer. I'm pulling it up now. So it's called Merge Studio Fashion Makeover, which, yeah, I know you couldn't see me probably playing this because it's about, you know, makeup and jewelry and stuff. But what I saw was, look at this payout, 345. But I'm never going to make it to level 100 on this, to tell you the truth. You know, I've worked to level 15 and I'm currently working on level 20. And it just takes so much to get every 5 levels that, and then it jumps up to 10 levels. I don't know how long I'm going to stick with it. But originally I jumped in there because, one, it was no time limit. And those kind of games attract me because some of those time limit games, you get on them and you're like, there's no way I can complete this in, you know, 30, 60 days, whatever it gives. So either way, that's what I've been working on. Relatively kind of a mindless game to me, but I jumped in because at the time it was the best payout available, but I'm not going to be able to make that top payout. So, okay, let's see here. Hey, it's Sherry is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Random says, hey man, I love these live streams, and I always get notified for them, but I'm grinding RavenQuest at the moment. We'll check the stream when you upload it afterwards. I just wanted you to know. Well, I've been playing a lot of RavenQuest too. So if y'all saw some of my videos, RavenQuest is a Web3 game, but you can play it free to play and earn. It's just fun. If you like the old school MMO type top-down looking where you, you know, grow a garden and harvest things and cook and create things, and then you go out and slay dragons, stuff, that type of game. But you can earn money while you're doing it. You don't have to, but I mean, you don't have to pay anything if you want. But I've been playing that lately. I've been releasing a few videos, trying to weave that into my usual coverage, and I've been trying to keep Atlas Earth coverage going. I just haven't had a whole lot of topics to do lately. Obviously, when we go into the new month here, we'll be able to discuss the new challenge ladder and how I'm doing that, and I'll have the middle of the month, whenever I hit my 1 year, I'm going to do a nice video about my thoughts on the game, how far it's come, and what I've been able to accomplish. So hopefully I can hit 1,000 parcels. Cross your fingers for me. Random says, when can we more or else expect a RavenQuest video for you? I'm going to try to do a RavenQuest video once a week. I've been trying to kind of mix it up. These kind of videos, I don't try to force them. I'm not a full-time creator. I have a full-time job, and so usually I work and then I get home about, I don't know, 5:30, and then during the day I'm thinking about which game I'm going to do a video about. And then while usually while my wife is cooking dinner, which thankfully she does a lot, appreciate it. I create a video and then go sit down and eat. And I know you're not asking about that. This is my daily kind of thing. But I'm trying to do one video per week about each game. That's my goal. Plus, do live streams on the weekend for Atlas Earth and also Splinterlands, another game I cover. So look for at least one video a week. Okay, so Atlas Bucks XX says, I got 435 parcels, saving up 1,100 Atlas Bucks for next tier jump. Yeah, I was shooting for 11 to 1,200, but I didn't quite make it. I'm right under 10,000. Checking out, I'm at 9,700 right now. So, Jorge Gallardo says, morning, everyone. What did I miss? Oh, you missed a lot. You should have been here. No. We've been talking Atlas Earth, as usual. Lady Sharon says, Anna, I didn't think of that. Aren't all map areas badges? I haven't gone there directly. Was planning on buying badge after mayorship. If it doesn't have a badge, I'll abort the plan. Well, I think largely, if you're going to take over mayor, it would behoove you to become mayor and then buy the badge, because then you would get your badge income. But it sounds like you were saying, it sounds kind of like a weird situation, and I don't know. Let us know what happens, right? Brandon says, hey, I'm on SSDI with a little money troubles. Should I keep going with Atlas Earth or stop and delete my account? Oh, you should definitely keep going. I mean, nothing says that you have to spend money in it. There's a lot of people that play the game and don't spend any money. I haven't put any of my personal money in it. All the money that I've used to pay for my monthly challenge membership has been from what I've earned off the game. So I would say if you've got, and you've been around the channel for several months now, I know, I would say keep playing and just you don't have to put money into it. It's one of the beauties of the game. There's several different ways to play the game, you know. Watch your ads, do some surveys, play some games, and just earn some Atlas Bucks that way, the good old-fashioned way. Of course, they make money off of it if you buy parcels, buy Atlas Bucks. It's not mandatory, though, right? You know, so I would say don't quit. I would say keep going and just use your your personal money for whatever you need it for your necessities, right? So. Annalise says at Lady Sharon, that is probably the best plan. Mr. Geek Me Out is here. Welcome. Cool name. Have you withdrawal to the PayPal account? What I've learned is that is one of those things that it depends upon where you are in the world. And I had a specific question by somebody that was in, I think Australia, and I had to look it up. Basically put, due to the differing banking regulations around the world, and this is largely what affects, the credit card type discussion with using the AMP program and trying to get that up and running outside the world. There's different banking laws everywhere, right? And that will affect whether you have the PayPal savings available on PayPal. Also had somebody reply in one of my videos that in the UK there is a surcharge for going to PayPal and then maybe to your bank account or something. I don't have any specifics. I'm just bringing it up. So what I'm saying is here in the States, I can remove to PayPal from game my rent and then put it into my PayPal savings. In fact, I'm going to bring up the page, but it's not available in Australia where I looked it up. So if you open up your PayPal account on the website, and you do not see PayPal savings available and you're not in the United States, then it may not be available for you. So Whoops. Let's go ahead and take that off. Forgot my phone was still up there. I'm trying to get logged in so we can take a look. Go back to Atlas Earth. Okay, and I'll go back into savings. Yeah, on the main page, PayPal savings is right below PayPal, your regular PayPal balance. And I'm just making sure there's no personal information on this page that could get me into trouble, but does not look like it. So here we go. And we'll keep this off for right now. So yeah, so on the main page, you have your main balance, and then you can remove to PayPal, and then just go ahead and add money. And when you add money to your PayPal savings, it'll give you a drop-down selection. Where do you want to bring the money from? And you just select PayPal balance, right? And then, you know, you can bring it over. So that's what I do, and this is my current balance. I'll be bringing over about $11 tomorrow, but then again, and then right afterwards, I'll be removing $10 because I'll be using that for my monthly membership for the challenge ladder for April, right? So I've been keeping this kind of as accurate as I possibly can. This indicates what I've earned off the game because all the money I've paid out of the rent I've earned and the savings I've made off of PayPal savings, which isn't a whole lot, but I figured it was better than nothing, right? The money I charge on my bank charge card, which is $10 a month for that challenge ladder, comes out of this, so I can keep it accurate. So, okay, let's go back to Atlas Earth. So I hope that answers your question, maybe. Yeah, I think it all comes down to PayPal savings is not available everywhere, and I'm not sure exactly where it's not available. I haven't investigated that. I just happened to look it up for one person who was asking, and I know it's not available in Australia. So, unfortunately, and it all comes down to banking regulations. Project Herion, sorry if I mispronounced that, says, what do you think about the referral system? I find that any people who would potentially be into it are already doing it. The referral system, frankly, has been good for me because I'm a YouTuber. And if you have a population of people that watch what you post on different social media, it could be advantageous. And it's just advantageous if you just have people that are friends that are gamers. With that said, it's recently been down and they've been having issues with it. I don't know if it's back up or not. In fact, let me go ahead and go check. I do know that they said it was down this week. Yeah, it's currently still not available. So I think I'd seen Manning post this week sometime that they were having problems with it. They took it down. If you had an old code you were using, that it still works at this present time, but I do not know any particulars on that. So I think it's great. I always mention it. Take advantage of it and use it where you can. I mean, a few extra Atlas bucks here and there. I don't make a ton off of it, but a few new players come in once in a while, and I get a few off of it, so it always helps. Annalise says, at Mr. Geek Me Out, click your rent ticker, then redeem now, enter the amount, and choose PayPal. Yeah, that's the basic way. I thought that they were looking for a little bit more of a deeper discussion of the PayPal. Hey, it's Sherry. Says, my boyfriend will be visiting from Ohio next week. Have a good visit. So I probably won't be able to complete the ladder until well into the month. Or you could get your boyfriend playing too. Either way, have a good time. Have fun with your visit. Don't do anything I would do and get in trouble. Brandon says, do you think Atlas Earth could help your personal debt, like credit card debt, personal student loan debt? I don't know about that. I do know that, I don't know. Everything helps, right? So if you build your way up, my whole point on just keeping going and buying, just steadily keep up with it and get your Atlas bucks where you can and continue to buy your parcels, then it builds up over time. I know at my present time, I'm making a little bit more than 30 bucks a month. You know, is that enough to help with loans and stuff? Sure, maybe a little bit. I mean, it's enough to buy you go out to eat one time or something like that. But I don't think you, like I always say, this is not a get-rich-quick game. It's not even a get-rich-slow game. I mean, a lot of these guys at the top, the big dogs, they've put plenty of money and time into it. And they're drawing good paycheck, but when you step back and consider how much money they more than likely put into the game, yeah, that's really debatable. But a lot of that is really talking about looking at the future and possibly selling off parcels as, you know, as we go along, you're grabbing up parcels. And what I consider us who've been playing the last year, 2, 3 years, have gotten early in the game, especially people outside the United States where it's just went live. If you're playing now and you're getting the land as we go along, that land that's available, I know there's a huge amount of land available in the world, but we're talking population centers where people live, you know, is all slowly going to be bought up. Of course, that depends upon how popular the game becomes, right? And as this land all gets bought up around us, then the game kind of takes on a different, what do I want to say? A different aspect in that you have the availability to try and sell off some of that land that you bought early on and make a profit off of it. You know, will that happen? Who knows, right? But that's something that could come down the road. Hey, it's Sherry says, unless I can get him hooked on Atlas. Oh, yeah, that was right. Right after I said that. My financial journey's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Annalise says, hey, it's Sherry. If you do, have him reach out to me in Discord. I have a Discord with a bunch of Ohio players. I grew up in Indiana, out that way. Used to go to Kings Island, outside Cincinnati, and drive through Ohio. Not frequently, once or twice a year. Lady Sharon says, well, hopefully pulling off the side of the road is okay. I figure if someone came up and asked, I'd just be honest. I'm not going to hop a fence or anything. Yeah, I mean, if you're where you can legally be, I say that's cool, right? All's fair. What I draw the line at is, you know, kind of trespassing and breaking the law. I don't think the game's worth that to go ahead and do that, you know. Especially if you have to do that to get into an area to buy, to take over a mayorship, then anybody else who wanted to buy that badge would have to do that same thing, right? So, the map situation is not perfect in game. Hopefully they're working on it. There's just so much land that they have to account for that for a small team, it would just be, you know, crazy, right? My financial journey says, just finished one of my arcade rewards, earned a total of 1,100 Atlas bucks. That is sweet. And a $50 payout from a different gaming app. Doubling up. Nice. Yeah, if you can double up and get rewards in 2 different ways off of this game, that's a bonus. And I have not seen a game that paid off 1,100 in quite a while. In fact, when I first started and they first started the arcade, the payouts were a lot higher from what I saw, and they just kind of slowly went down. Now I can get, like that one I talked about, I can get some decent payouts, but they're almost impossible to get. I mean, like impossible, like hundreds of hours playing the game just to get them, you know? So, I mean, you can never find the good ones unless you try and pick them out. And sometimes, very infrequently, once in a while, there's a game that you can blow through and get a decent payout in relatively quickly, a couple hours. But a lot of these games I'm finding just take hundreds of hours to go through. And they know that, and that's why they set them that way, right? So. My Financial Journey says the rent conversion event for next month will happen at the end of the month. So it'll line up better, kind of like it did this month. 26 more days. Scott McGill's here. Welcome, Scott. I've been playing for 2 months now. I have 33 badges and 237 properties. Any advice? Where are you at, Scott? Are you in the States or are you in a different country? Let me know, because it hinges upon that. I will advise you that, let me get this link here. Actually, this is the best advice I can give you. I'll post this in chat. This is the link to Tasty Wallet's guide, and everything I pull really when people ask for advice is right off that guide, because it works and I don't see any reason to write a different one myself, because he's put a lot of time and effort into that, and it's what I've been following. I slightly altered it because for my personal play, in that at my point, at 875 parcels and 15% badge boost. I'm working on the 20%, but I'm not going to stop doing my parcel accumulation on a monthly basis just to buy badges. I have like, let me check. I don't have my past, yeah, I'm not even halfway in the 15% boost to go to 20%. So what I am doing is, instead of just stopping and not buying parcels of land and just buying badges, I'm just accumulating them when I can, especially when I need them to pass a ladder challenge, because in my area I have almost all the badges, and I have to specifically go out, check the map, specifically drive out 20 or 30 minutes just in one direction just to get one badge. So finding all these extra badges is just become too cumbersome for me. So that's why I always advise anyone that if you're going on a trip and you know you're getting ready to go on a trip and you've got a few weeks notice or something like that, start saving up your Atlas bucks. Just buy badges when you're on your trip, okay? Don't even be concerned with land. Because those badges that you pick up will ultimately help you out as time goes along. Because especially when you get up into the 15-20% boost, it just gets harder and harder to find badges, basically. So, but to answer your main question, look at Tasty Wallet's guide and check that out. And a lot of it just depends upon what country you're playing from. Atlas Bucks says, I got the jackpot of 50 Atlas Bucks yesterday and today, 2 days in a row. Oh, that's sweet. This whole last 2 weeks has not been great for me. I've been averaging 3 to probably about 5 Atlas Bucks a day. Today I hit 7, but most of the days I was getting like 3 Atlas Bucks with a few diamonds and this and that. Now, about a month ago, I hit the 50. But since then, it's been a relatively low payout. But, it's just random. A little bit extra per day is better than none. Brandon says, if I can go off subject, I'm a fan on collecting aluminum cans for money. By any chance, do you know what the price of aluminum cans is in Pennsylvania? Just curious. That is a random question, I'm telling you. But to answer you, I don't know. I do need to find out because I've got a bunch of bags of cans in the back of my garage that need to go over there so I can get them out of my garage, though. When I find out, I'll let you know. Hey, it's Sherry. Says, I've gotten 4 payouts for my mayorship so far. Not bad for my little podunk town. Yeah, anything extra is good, and to Annalise's point on her video from this morning, she seems to always post her weekly roundup right before this, an hour or two. Why not just take over small towns? Take over what you can get. And as this, once again, back to the point of the game growing, as the game grows, there'll be more and more people looking for badges, and especially where I live right outside of a big city, I have to check the map and look around and say, oh, I need to drive over there and grab a badge, right? And there'll be more and more people doing that. Now, it's a lot easier to do now since we have the map. It used to be kind of just like hunt and peck and guess where you're going to get a badge. Now you can actually pull up the map. Is the map perfect? No, it's not perfect. I'm sure it's a work in progress, but you can pull it up and find where you're most likely to find new badges. So having those small towns isn't as bad as it used to be, because people can now see them on the map and go out and take a drive out to get the badge if they need one, you know. So and to that point, badges do help. You know, there's a lot of people that kind of misconstrue what that passport boost is. You know, you work your way up 5, 10, 15, 20, 25%, and they said they're going to expand that this year. That's a flat boost. That's on at all times. Now, it's not as big of a boost because it's a percentage boost and not a multiplier boost like when you watch your ads, but it's on at all times. And obviously the team or the company gets paid when you watch your ads, so that boost is going to be of greater import. But this is a solid thing to add to your gameplay to, you know, like I said, it's a flat boost on at all times. So it's worth collecting the passport badges when you can find them. Especially if they'll complete a challenge for the monthly challenge for you. The Phantom Ranger says fishing ended 15 minutes ago in the UK. Yeah, as soon as I started talking about it, I'm like, you know, it's probably over in the UK now. Yeah, it's just time zone. I need to kind of remind myself to say that, because whenever I talk about the mini games and their timing, it's different for everybody depending upon where you live. It goes by your time zone, right? So, and you know, the UK is 4 or 5 hours ahead of us. So, where I'm at on the East Coast. So, Lady Sharon says, on the mini games, I hope they don't put so many that the ladder gets clogged with mini games. Well, there's a lot of mini games on the ladder. However, and you know, I don't play them a lot. You know my opinion. I'm not a great mini game player, but I do like the thought or the point that they're on there. So if you don't want to use the amp, or if you're in a different country than the States and you can't use the amp, then you have more choices and you have the availability to actually use them to complete your challenge ladder. You know, one thing I like about how they design the challenge ladder is that there's not just one straight road to complete it. You have multiple different choices. Or if you live in the States and you don't want to spend money on the AMP program, or you don't want to spend money on converting virtual rent to Atlas bucks, then you can just play more mini games. Not that I'm a fan of them, but there are some people that get good at them, and in certain areas they have a large pool of people playing and they earn a decent amount of money. So if you're younger, you have fast reflexes, you have a good solid internet connection on your device, you know, something worth trying out. But what they equate to is kind of like a 50-50 pool. You're putting your Atlas bucks in. It costs 2 Atlas bucks to play a game. And then if you lose, you have the possibility of watching an ad and getting some of those back. And then at the end, the people who place get a certain amount of Atlas bucks. Annalise talks about that on her videos. She's working on her performance in those games, so she's doing better. I'm right up front. I don't play them. I play them minimally, just usually the first game or two within the month. That gets me through the challenge ladder, because mainly what I'm trying to open up is the buy parcels, and the buy parcels is highly rated as far as giving you a lot of Atlas bucks, as well as the do surveys. Mainly the things that is going to make the company money on the backside, you're going to get more points on the challenge ladder for. So mainly what I'm interested in is getting those buy parcels to open up so I can complete my tier jump. Usually I'm not going to be able to do a full tier jump this next month, but get that done as fast as possible, so I'm not in that losing money range as far as in between tiers. So, because, you know, it usually goes like buy 1, buy 4, buy 3, buy 5, or whatever it ends up being. Whereas I usually buy more than that because I know that I'm going to end up having enough to do that and wanting to make my way to, you know, in this case, I'm going to probably go from 875 to 975 within the first week of this month, right? So, instead of buying 1, I'll probably buy 20 or something like that. But I always leave the cushion on the back end to be able to complete the level 4 of the challenge, just in case, you know. So I don't have any worries of breaking tier this time around. But previously, you know, when there's fewer and fewer parcels in between tiers as you're in lower level, it's easier to break tier. So just something to be aware of. Oh, Sherry says that they could hear my ad. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had the desktop audio up. My bad. I was streaming I was doing a video of RavenQuest the other night, and I had that slider up so that they could hear game audio. The game audio in RavenQuest is a very good audio track, but it's very soothing. It's almost, I can play it for like an hour, and it's almost put me to sleep. Zolden Ranger says, good afternoon, Bronze. Withdrew my second $10 the other day, started November of 24 in Canada and holding at 99 parcels at the minute. Well, that's good. As long as you have a plan, stick with it. Like I said, it's a game of sticking with it and accumulating. That's what it's all about. Bolts85 is in the house. Welcome. I know I'm a little bit behind in chat because I've been chit-chatting about different subjects. Welcome to the party, Bolts. Hey, it's Sherry. Says, wow, that merge game is only 44 Atlas bucks for me in total. Yeah, those, I stopped even guessing about the payouts. The payouts to everybody on every different game. Everybody says, you know, a common refrain is, hey, which game should I play? I'm like, I can tell you which games were fun for me, and that's totally different on every person because every different person finds different games fun, right? I can tell you which games were relatively quick to work through, but everybody's going to have a different payout depending upon if you're on iOS or if you're on Android, where you're at. It's all marketing, right? It all comes down to ad revenue and marketing. So I almost hate to show what I'm getting paid when I do get payout, because then there's always going to be somebody saying, oh, I get less. But then again, like earlier, somebody was saying, oh, I just completed one and got 1,100. So, you know, all I can say on games is look at the games you have available and try to pick the one that seems like it's the best worth your time and effort. That's all I can say. And some of the games don't make you pull your hair out, because some of them just make me pull my hair out. Once in a while, you get a good game that is actually fun to play. Neo Radio 713 says, I would rather that than open the complete game catalog in the arcade. That way we could choose from more games. Well, it all comes down to what games are paying Atlas Earth to be advertised this month. That's what it comes down to, as far as I know. I'm not on the team. I don't have any inside information, but that's logic to me. You know, this game is, and we've talked about this a number of times, it's all based on advertising, you know. The companies in the AMP program, the companies that are paying to advertise their game and have them in the arcade, it's all ad revenue, right? You know, logically speaking. So I would think that the selection of games you have, there's probably a number of variables I'm not thinking about, but the selection of games you have come down to which games have paid to be advertised. And then there's some kind of cycling event. Somehow they cycle through. Maybe some games are advertised in different areas. Some games pay more to be advertised here in the States. So you get the ad revenue pays more here in the States, so we get paid out more. Some games are more popular in the UK. I don't know, maybe. there's a lot of variables there. So everybody's going to have different games. And I have noticed that I try not to take too many games. I take a game when an event is on and start it and try to go through it as much as possible. I have found that, kind of like the surveys, if you sit there and you take a bunch of games or a bunch of surveys within like a day or two, then you'll have very few to pick from. So for what it's worth. Brandon says, do legendary parcel upgrades really boost faster and permanently? Well, they will take your land and convert it into a legendary. So logic would say you're going to put that on a common, and you would go from earning that land would go from common to legendary. So you're doing a full 4 times multiplier. So a legendary is earning 4 times what a common is. So it's earning more. And I think mostly the LPUs are about the artwork and the skins. People like to have those skins. The skins today, this month, are pretty cool, with the lawn gnome, the toilet, and something else. Pretty interesting. Almost got me to buy one, but I haven't. So yeah, they're permanent. Yeah, it does upgrade. To me, it's more about the art. Do you want the art? Because is it worth it from a 4 times perspective to spend 2,500 Atlas bucks on it? No. You could buy 25 parcels with that, right? Yeah. And yeah, it is permanent. And if you put a LPU on a parcel of land and sell that, then that person that buys it off of you is going to get that, you know. So they're going to get a legendary upgrade, or they're going to get a legendary plot with whatever skin you've got on it, right? So the Phantom Ranger says, have you played Tap Tap Match? I'm stuck at level 134. No, I have not. Neo Radio 713 says, hello, sorry for not introducing myself. Love the channel. Well, thanks. I always like some good feedback. Yeah, when you watch a video, love to hear it when people love my videos. And hey, if you've got a critique, or if you've got an idea for another video you'd like to hear about, just leave it in the comments. It all helps. It's all in the YouTube algorithm. That's why I try to reply to everybody too whenever I have time during my workday. I try to reply because that increases the amount of replies that are on each video. It shows YouTube that, hey, oh, sorry about that. Just hit my mic. I use my hands a lot. I'm from the Midwest, but I've been living on the East Coast for quite a while. So it helps the algorithm out. It's basically people replying to the videos, giving ideas, talking about different stuff. It shows the interaction with the video, and then more people see the video. So I appreciate it. Let's see here. Supreme Victory Studios says, also grinding RavenQuest too. Oh, by the way, hey, if you want to play a new game, check out my, once again, referral code in the comments. Get some free packs and start playing RavenQuest. It's been another game I've been having fun with. If you like old school MMOs. Might not be for everybody. It's a pretty cool game, though. That's been taking a lot of my time lately. Brandon says, what are your thoughts on doing surveys on Survey Junkie and using the money to buy Atlas bucks? I think you've talked about this before. I think it's a cool idea where if you are using another money-making platform and then use that funds to buy Atlas bucks if you want to. I mean, it all just comes down to what you feel is the best use of that money, right? So Christopher Marino says, just hit the jackpot on Diamond Spin. Nice. While watching the stream. Your good luck. Nice. Hey, it's Sherry. Says, crossing the fingers for the 1,000 parcels. Thank you very much, Sherry. Brandon says, do you think we'll get a fitness program where we can walk or bicycle? That would be cool. I think we were talking about this last week. I like the idea. I think that the expansion of Atlas Earth over the last year has shown them adding several different things to the game to branch out from the game it was and become more of an earning platform like these other platforms Brandon was talking about. And one of those that hasn't broached is the, the steps. So it's a nice idea. I haven't heard them talk about it. So that's just one of those things that's in the idea phase. It would be cool to add that. But as we know, whenever you add another one of these subsystems to a game, you get more problems because basically it's a combination. This game is a combination of different subsystems within the game kind of patched together. And then you have a different third-party company running each of these systems. And then you end up with issues that support has to cover. So while it's cool, I don't know the how well it would work with this game. Who knows? Nice idea, though. And Annalise says they have no intent to do that. So there you go. Gucci Belt's here. Hey, Earthlings. Brandon says, do you think we will get more add-ons or benefits to the Explorer Club to make it more worth it? Don't know. Haven't heard. The last change they've added was the extra spins you get on the wheel on a daily basis, which helps you sleep more and not have to wake up in the middle of the night for that 24/7 boost. The Phantom Ranger says, providing you're still the mayor at midnight, though. Yeah. Brandon says, hey, if we were to accumulate $150 in rent and cash out to PayPal, could I use a PayPal debit card to pay for the Explorer Club? Annalise says, absolutely. Bob Bobson's here. Welcome, Bob. My goal is to keep playing, and any money I make in Atlas Earth, I plan on buying REIT stocks, not financial advice. Nice. It's good to have a plan. Good to have a plan. Hot Wheels Budget is here. I just spent $2,500 this morning on Atlas Bucks. This will be all that I spend on the game. Well, drop back by in a few months, on a weekly basis, and let us know how it's going. How, what your approach to the game was and how you actually used that. Neo Radio 713 says, what are the top 3 things you would like to see improved in the game? I would like a diamond store and putting fast food on AMP. I like the idea that they announced about adding gas stations and grocery stores to the AMP program. As far as the diamond store, he's said a number of times that they don't plan on using the diamonds for anything other than what they're used for now. Brutal Toto says, hello from Atlantis in South Africa. Well, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. Project Herion says, stopped. My boyfriend heard you say that. Supreme Victory Studios says, smash that like button. Yes, please do. As always, leaving a like on the video and live stream, and also leaving a reply does help. That I appreciate it. We're getting towards the bottom of the hour. Let's see if we can wrap up this discussion. He walked in on me and ran off screaming about how I planned it all. Oh, sorry about that. Brutal Toto says the dollar has more value outside the USA. Yeah, I would agree. And I don't keep up with that, but I assume that if you are from out of the States and the dollar is not your primary, I've been to several countries where the dollar wasn't their primary money, but they did use the dollar was common currency to be exchanged because it's one of the primary currencies in the world. But you have to figure that as well, So you may say, well, I'm earning less in Atlas Earth than you do in the States, but the dollar's worth more here, so that helps out a little bit. But either way, I think the statement still is true that if you just stick with it, it builds up over time. No matter what you're getting, it will build up over time. And then at a certain point, you got to figure out, well, is this worth my time? Maybe not, I'm still at it. Like I said, does it pay my bills? No. Is it fun to do? Yeah. Otherwise, if it wasn't fun to do and fun to cover for my channel, then I wouldn't be doing it. Annalise says Kings Island is awesome. Yeah, I liked it. Man, I couldn't tell you last time I was there was whenever I was a teenager, and that's many moons ago. Palmer Husky is here. Got a surprise badge on the way home a couple of days ago. Nice. Now all I need is one badge to unlock my level 4 passport. Oh, sweet. That's a sweet range. I'd be out trying to find a badge right now to get that extra. Brandon says, do you ever drink Monster Energy drink? No. Most of the ones that I drink are these sparkling ice, and it's not a commercial because there's no sugar in it, and it's mostly vitamins. I saw a lot of people in especially the late 90s get hooked on that full sugar Monster Energy drink, and not to get off on a rant, but it led to them basically picking up a lot of weight and being bad for their heart. Okay, it's 1 o'clock, and I know I didn't hit all of the chat, but I want to say I appreciate everybody for dropping by, and I want to tell you, next week, which looking at the calendar is the 6th of April, there will not be a show, and because I'm taking my wife and daughter to the yearly Cherry Blossom Festival. One of my side hobbies is photography, so I wanted to go down and get some good shots of the cherry blossoms. So next week, the 6th of April, there will not be a show. However, the following week, we'll pick it right back up as normal. As always, I appreciate everybody dropping by and chatting Atlas Earth and checking out my videos on a weekly basis. Once again, if you have an idea for a show you'd like to see me to do detail on, just leave them in the chat portion of a previous video, and I'll get to it eventually. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a great week, and everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, as always, I'll see you in Atlas Earth.